Mark, I guess you're bringing up this fantastic question, which is how do you know what you know? And we're seeing an acceleration of the ability to produce lots and lots and lots of content, slanted or otherwise. And so, are we seeing an acceleration of a way to detect it when it's been produced? I'm going to bet that we have, and I'll bet that there's more than one approach. I'll bet that we can do it with people. We've done all kinds of model training with people. I'll bet we can do it with other AI approaches, whatever that means.
Mhm.
And I'll bet that there's some other way of aggregating the two, having one help the other. So, but would you walk us through what that all looks like, Mark? Is there a human-based approach for this detection, and what does that look like?
Well, listen, you're absolutely right. Kind of in the earlier days of various AI technologies, of which, by the way, we are in the early days of some newer forms of AI. Humans are probably the most adept at detecting what was AI generated. Like if you rewind, when I first started digging into this area back in 2014, there were some image generators out there that could generate faces. But man, you looked at them and it was wonky. Like you knew something was just off. But speech and image generation have got to the point now that they're almost human indistinguishable. There's just no human labor force that's going to set aside and go through it and start classifying, that this is AI generated, this is human generated, oh, this is something in between. That's going to be very error prone, time consuming, and expensive. But for the most part, it's using AI to detect AI. There are LLMs out there, believe it or not, LLMs to detect LLMs. Part of that is if you took a paragraph, an LLM, most nowadays are based off of transformers, meaning that they just guess the next word. So if I said Mary had a little, probably lamb statistically is going to be up there. Hand grenade is probably going to be a little lower on the list. You can take a statistical look at the distribution of words and kind of say, wow, isn't that interesting? This paragraph always picks the number 1, 2, or 3 next most likely word. Humans probably don't do that efficiently and with that narrow of a distribution. So I'm picking that this was generated by AI. But there kind of is a hybrid, as you mentioned, in between, which is that by actually taking human feedback, human feedback is very, very nuanced, and we know that AI is a terrific amplifier. My goodness, go look at a social media site. If there's any wacky idea out there, AI can certainly amplify it and make it seem like a movement. But the idea is that by using amplification, you can also amplify human feedback into the training mode, that portion of it that's called the discriminator, taking that human feedback and feeding it in, but using AI to amplify that feedback so that it has a much greater impact. You wind up getting kind of the best of both worlds then. So the idea here is that you'll go ahead and have a bunch of known samples, you generate a bunch of known artifacts, humans will go through that and give corrective feedback. You'll have another tool that amplifies that and feeds that back in the training cycle. That kind of approach where humans plus AI detecting, today that's probably the most accurate. There's even a term for it. It's called reinforcement learning with human feedback, RLHF. If you guys are an acronym fan, there's one for you. You'd throw that out the next time you're at a Thanksgiving dinner.